All Elite Wrestling held their highly anticipated Blood and Guts match last night. Here were the biggest moments from the match and fan reactions. Hey everyone, I'm Denise Salcedo and this is the Sportster News. The Inner Circle and the Pinnacle had a bloodbath last night on AEW Dynamite. Here are the top moments of the gruesome war between the two teams. AEW did an awesome job with the visuals of the blood and guts, the two rings, the cage with a roof, and both teams came in ready to get their hands dirty. The Pinnacle dressed in white, led by MJF, and the Inner Circle dressed in black and led by Chris Jericho were two strong teams that had fans wondering who will come out on top. The first two men in the match were Sammy Guevara and Dax Harwood. In this first period, AEW did a phenomenal job establishing Sammy as a strong babyface. The fast-paced encounter between the two led to a momentous start. The next man in was Shawn Spears, giving the heel group the advantage, thus also giving them their heat back during the portion of this match. The match kicked into high gear when Ortiz entered to help even out the odds, followed by Cash Wheeler and then Santana. All these guys utilized the cage as a weapon and were bleeding all over the place. The next man in was Wardlow for the Pinnacle, followed by Jake Hager. Once Jake Hager and Wardlow got into this match, they went at it, started throwing back and forth punches to one another. The final two men to enter were MJF, then followed by Chris Jericho. Once all 10 men were in, thus began the submission or surrender portion of the match. Some awesome moments included a spiked pile driver from the members of the Inner Circle to FTR on exposed wood, an impactful coast-to-coast from Sammy Guevara, and Santana stabbing MJF's face with a fork. The match eventually ended up with the two leaders MJF and Chris Jericho atop the cage. MJF locked Jericho with a Fujiwara armbar, was stomping on his fingers and biting Jericho. The finish came when MJF threatened to throw Jericho off the cage if his team did not surrender, thus forcing the Inner Circle to surrender. But that wasn't going to stop MJF, who still tossed Jericho off the cage and onto the stage with little to no remorse. The closing image was a bloody MJF celebrating atop the cage. However, the finish of the match had fans torn with the ending. Some fans argued it was a fun finish with Jericho getting tossed from the cage, while others pointed out that it was a weak finish that was not as impressive given that it was obvious Jericho landed on a crash pad and made the babyfaces look silly for believing that MJF would not toss off Jericho if they surrendered. Here are some fan reactions. This person wrote, "The ending was great, but the camera angle sucked and ruined it a bit." Another wrote, "Perfect finish, babyface quits to save their friend. Heel says, F your friend anyway." Another person said, "The ending was weak and pretty pointless. Actually, if he was going to push him off, it dragged at points, and the commercial break hurt the match. Everyone worked hard, it was good, but not great." This fan wrote, "It was brutal, dirty, and did everything it needed to. I loved it." Several people also made a comparison between this match and the exploding barbed wire death match that took place at AEW Revolution, saying, "I felt the same way about it as I felt about the exploding barbed wire. Ending was weird, but to focus on that is to disregard the rest of the match, which was top tier." This person said, "To be honest, I liked the match as a whole and the finish, but the post-match push off the cell was underwhelming in the extreme." Lastly, another person wrote, "Was a great war. The ending just felt a bit anticlimactic, but it was a great and bloody match overall." There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The first ever AEW Blood and Guts match is officially in the history books. So now, continue the conversation. What did you guys think of this match? What did you think of the finish? What side of this argument are you on? Go ahead and share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. Other than that, I'm Denise Salcedo, and do not forget to check out thesportster.com for more on the latest in pro wrestling.